All right, Rabotai, we are in Sha'arei Orah. Shiur 16, page 17 on the bottom. Michael. Today we had the zechut of being in the Siyum Masechet. And as you guys are in my Sha'arei Orah Shiur, all you guys should have yelled out at the rabbi. You should have told him what's one of the names of the Malchut. Berecha. Berechot. Mea brachot.
He would have still said no to you. He would have said no, that's not the answer I'm looking for.
No, not as an answer. He was saying Mem Taikrin Shema Ba'arvit. So he said Shema Aravit is Mana Malchut. So you should have said, yeah, the name of the Masechet is brachot. Brachot is one of the names of Sfirat HaMalchut. I was waiting for one of you guys to say it, but I guess there was a kitzer.
I'm not here long enough.
There was a kitzer. A little?
We want to live for tomorrow. We went 7 days.
But anyways, one of the names of the Malchut is called Brachot. Beracha. And also Berecha, a pool. And we also said that the Malchut, the Shekhinah, the Sfirat HaMalchut of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we said last time we learned, is also called a Be'er. A Be'er is a well. Whenever you see in the Torah, Be'er Sheva. Why Be'er Sheva? The seventh well, the seventh Sfirah, which is Malchut. From Chesed, Gevurah, Tifer, Netzachot, Yisod, Malchut. Right? So Be'er Sheva. Avraham was in Be'er Sheva. Avraham had a daughter called Bakol. Bakol is a bracha. Right? Bracha is Malchut. Yeah. Rabbi Isai.
Sorry.
Okay. Lifamim, in Zayin on the bottom, sometimes Nikra Shem Amonai, and we also know that the name of God, which is represented by the Sfirat of Malchut, also as a side point, what does the Torah say? Whoever wants to have a bracha, give your wife presents.
Yeah.
Right? The Gemara says, why? Bracha is the Malchut. Your wife is your Malchut.
Isn't that an Ariya Kadosh's tombstone?
No, it's not. Ariya Kadosh was not a feminist. You know what Ariya Kadosh's job was, right? He was a diamond cutter.
That's why your father likes him.
Also, the Ramchal was a diamond cutter.
He wasn't an optician.
You chop them?
I don't think he had optician.
Nobody was barbers over there?
Opticians,
No,
didn't Benjamin Franklin create the bifocals?
Yes.
So he was quite.
No, we're talking about New Rap.
But it's not a
I don't know. Yeah, but he invented them. I don't think we had bifocals before that.
No.
Haman was a barber.
But there was some building that were barbers, no?
Haman was a barber, yeah.
Haman?
Yeah. Haman was a barber.
I thought he was oh, that was before.
Yeah. Yeah,
Masechet triangle hat.
So, we also said, now which name of Hashem is the Sfirah of Malchut? Abraham, which name of Hashem is the Sfirah of Malchut? Amonai, my master. That's why when you see your wife, you have to say, my master. Because she's Sfirat HaMalchut, Amonai.
Yourself. You say
It's yourself.
She's not a bird.
Shlomo Bayit. Ulefamim, sometimes Shem Amonai is also called a Yam.
Yam?
Yam. A sea. Ha'atam, why? Kikola berachot, all the shefas of the world, all the rivers, fill into where? Into the Yam. And just as the Malchut is the Kli, is the vessel to get all the bracha, so to the Yam, in this world, is the materialization of the ultimate pool.
What page of
And what's Zayin at the bottom? What's the ultimate pool, Abraham? The sea. The sea. That's why many people drown in the Yam. Because it's a full of din.
Or in the lake.
Because Malchut is full of din. Also, a lake is considered a Malchut too. That's why, where did Avot daven to get a wife? Where did they always daven? By the water. Because the water, whenever you see a pool of water, it represents the Malchut in Shamayim. It's like you're by the Sfirat HaMalchut.
Moving water or like a pond?
No, even a lake, even a pond. Yeah, like we do tashlich, right? Any running water. Of course, an actual real lake.
It's better.
This lake that we have over here, Rabbi say it's a fake lake.
Yeah, man-made.
It's a man-made lake. Yeah.
Wait, in order for a lake to be, it has to be moving or not really? It doesn't need to be moving?
It's a natural body of water. It has a spring, right, from which it comes out of. So all the waters go inside the Yam. This is the secret that King Solomon, turn the page, said, Kol hanechalim olchim al hayam. All the rivers end up in the sea, but the sea is never full. So to your wife, which is the sea, she's the malchut, no matter how much shefa you give, it's like a pool. It'll never be fulfilled. Like the sea has no end, the sea has no bottom, right? What's the bottom of the sea? Nobody's ever been there. You can't go there. The pressure.
So the
Nobody's ever been to the bottom of the sea.
Of course not. Huh?
The lowest they went was maybe 2
That's not
miles,
true.
1 mile down.
Moshe Rabbeinu was in the bottom.
What? That was the Reed Sea. I'm talking about the oceans. I'm talking about the ocean. That was the Reed Sea. You're comparing the Reed Sea with an ocean? You're comparing the Reed Sea to the ocean?
like the Atlantic.
Yeah, that's the Mariana Trench.
The Reed Sea is nothing compared to an ocean. The ocean is no end almost. There's almost no end. We don't even know the animals that live over there. Right? The pressure over there, the sunlight doesn't penetrate. They're very dangerous down there. It's crazy kinds of animals over there. Why are you looking at me like that?
The guy who did Titanic went down.
You're comparing it to the...
You
What's
went,
his face?
you went to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, no, some part of it, yeah.
Jack?
No.
Jack also?
The guy, don't make it into a joke.
I'm
But
not.
in a
It's
submersible,
Titanic.
it's in a submersible. But yeah, it's like pitch black, super cold, and so much pressure.
Anyways, ולשון ים הוא הקרקע המחזיק את המים. Really, the word yam doesn't mean a sea. It's the earth that holds the sea. It's the earth. It means in the bottom of the ocean is earth.
The vessel.
It's the vessel, exactly. It's the vessel. The water is the shefa in the vessel. It's the shefa in the vessel. כאומרו כמים לים מכסים, ואומר ולמקווה המים קרא ימים. And to the mikveh of the water he called seas. That means the mikveh itself is the malchut, and those seas are what fills the mikvahs, and it's called the seas. Alright? So, הרי בית הקיבול המים נקרא ים. The vessel that holds the water is called a yam. And that's why mayim, ma is mem, yam. Mayim is mem yam. Right? Mem yam. 40 se'ah inside a mikveh.
7 miles.
Mem,
Hey,
the yam,
7 miles.
that's the deepest anybody has ever gone down. 7 miles is nothing. What's nothing?
Wait, I don't get it, Rabbi. What's the
And compared to what the ocean really is. Compared to what the ocean really is.
the מים של הים.
Yeah, exactly. ומתוך זה הים נבראו כמה מלאכים ומחנות. Inside the ocean, God created angels and their camps, the chariots of those angels. Inside the water, inside the ocean itself, the ocean gave birth to these angels. וכמה מינים ישונים אשר שרצו עמם. In the ocean, you have no end species of kinds of creatures in there. וכולן מרכבות ומחנות. Those creatures are materializations of very high-level angels in Shamayim that gave birth to from the water itself, from the Malchut
So
itself.
why you need them over here? What's their function?
All these things show the Gdula of Hashem, that He's an
that's
Ein
just-
Sof, that He has everything, right? Like I was talking to somebody the other day, it says the Torah says God regretted that He created man, right? In Peshat Noach. Ki nichamti ki asitim. It's the end of Bereshit, I'm sorry. It says, V'Noach matza chen b'nei Hashem. And Noach found favor in the eyes of God. Person who has a little bit of wit says this is a very kfira pasuk. This is a pasuk that's kfira. Right? God regretted? That means God messed up? Of course. Now, first of all, there's many different meanings of the word nichamti. But one meaning of the nichamtis is that for God to be perfect, He also has to show His power of regret. Even He has to show, it means if He wouldn't be able to regret, we wouldn't be able to regret.
Right.
All of our powers are a materialization of His midot. And all of the midot are just branches of the 10 sfirot. That means more than the 10 sfirot, there is no branching out of the midot. You understand? That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be He has much more. He's Ein Sof. But He chose to reveal it in the number 10. Exactly. And those 10, the top 3 are the highest. Keter Chokhmah Binah. And those 3 that you could never have Pegam. When you have Pegam over there, a Holocaust happens.
But you said they can't have the pigam because they didn't break the vessels. Though.
Exactly. Why did Hashem do it like that? Because if He would have broken, every time we would do an Avera, would also hit up there. Therefore, Hashem didn't make them come out during the breaking of the vessels. That way, exactly, like a safety pen. That way, when we do an Avera, those 3 right away, they go away. Mistalkim, and we could only hit the 7. We could only hit the 7.
Because if you would have hit the
the 3, it would have been done deal.
New world all the time.
Exactly. It was Bonei Olamot Machirah all the time. And also in the Malchut. When the Malchut came out, when the Sfirah of Malchut only came out in the Keter. Only that, for her, the highest came out. The other 9 were a Tosefet. When our job is to always put the 3 to the 7 and the 9 to the 1.
Lift it up.
Right. That's how we lift up the Shekhinah. When Aravit starts, basically, why do people feel tired in the night? When Aravit starts, Hashem's Shekhinah, his revelation of the Malchut, starts to go down into the Klipah. Besod batiten teref lebeita v'chuklan ma'arotea. Eshet chayil minza. Right? It starts going lower like the moon. But every time the moon goes up and down for 30 days, that happens every day. In Aravit time. When does it completely go down? Like the lowest? At midnight. That's when we cry, Korban Beit HaMikdash. And then slowly, after midnight, it starts to go up, level after level after level, but only by people who learn Torah after midnight. That's why the Ari HaKadosh says, in Sha'arei Kavanot, if a person is able to, if he really wants to take upon himself a mitzvah, like, I know as the rabbi said today, he said something very right. He said some good points, guys. Sometimes his personality makes a person lose himself, but he said some very good points. He said, the Gaon of Vilna said, they said, you're a chassid. It's a very deep story. And he said, a chassid? First, let me fulfill the Shulchan Aruch, and then let me fulfill the Gemara, then let me fulfill this. Then when I'll take upon myself extra things, right now I'm not a chassid. Right now I'm doing what I have to do. Right? For example, they once asked Rav Eliyahu Lopian. They said to him, they saw, especially by the Litvaks, you see this a lot, they're very scared of Gehenom. Gehenom is real. There's no doubt about it. There's a cleansing process after death. And they asked him, why are you so afraid, Rabbi? So he said, I'm going to pass away. They're going to ask me, Rav Elia, come, such a big tzaddik. Let's open up the Shulchan Aruch. Let's see if you kept it. He said, already in the first halacha, I'm going to fail. What's the first halacha? How is that the first halacha? Yidgaber ka'ari la'avod et boro. Wake up like a lion in the morning to serve your Creator. You wake up the night. Don't let the morning wake you up. You gotta wake up the morning. You're gonna wake up. You wake up from the night to the morning. Because already from that I'm already lost. They're already gonna sentence me. Already from the first one I'm out. That means it's a Shulchan Aruch really. You should wake up a little bit before the morning, like a lion. Like an Ari. Yeah, how are you going to do that? Right? Anyways, and that's not Chassidut. It's not Chassidut. That's the first halacha in the Shulchan Aruch.
For soldiers,
you understand?
not generals.
And then what does the Ramah add? What does the Ramah add to the first halacha? Also a very big bomb. It's the first halacha in Shulchan Aruch. He says, Al tavoz mipnei hamal'igim. Don't be ashamed of the people that make fun of you when you're religious. Don't feel shamed by it. No, it's a footnote on the first halacha. Okay? That's why King David said the yam is gadol. The sea is big. Urechav yadayim. It's very wide. Sham remes ve'en mispar. Chayot k'tonot im gedolot. King David said in the yam there are small animals and big animals, animals that you cannot see, animals that you cannot even imagine in the yam, in the malchut. And that's why your wife, she's a yam. And in the yam, in her womb, what fills the baby over there? It's fluid. That's a mikvah. The baby is in 9 months in a mikvah. You understand? And from that mikveh comes this being, comes life. Okay? And the Gemara Masechet Nida says a woman could give birth to a child that has wings, a child that has a face of a snake, a child that has a face of all different kinds of things.
Really?
Yeah. It's a possibility. Just like the sea could give birth to so many different kinds of beings, so too a woman has the capability to create all different kinds of beings. Then the Gemara asks, because if a woman gives birth to a child, right? And the child, Chas Shalom, miscarriage. Chas Shalom. Right? If a woman has a miscarriage, the Torah says, even if she didn't bleed, she's 7 days not clean for a boy, 2 weeks not clean for the girl. But let's say she gave birth to a child that looks face of a snake. She doesn't know it's a boy, it's a girl, is this even a human or she had a. What does she do?
In a dream or in reality?
Yeah.
If you would have put your phone down, you would have heard the whole
Mother
story.
gives birth to a snake?
Face of a snake. The child has a face of a snake.
Stillborn. It still didn't develop.
Okay. The Gemara says, let's say it's a Gemara. It's actually part. I can open the Shulchan Aruch to you right now. Let's say the woman gave birth to a child that looks like Lamed Yud Tov.
I know
Huh?
what it looks like.
What's that look?
I know what
It's
she
a
looks like.
demonic look to it. It's unfinished. It looks like a demon. What does she keep? 2 weeks for a girl or 1 week for a boy? It's a halachic debate.
3 weeks.
The Gemara then brings a story of a rabbi called Flimo. Flimo. You hear me?
Yeah.
Flimo. Flimo.
It's fine.
He was a time. Flimo, he was a student of Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. He was part of his Beit Din. So once he asked Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, he says, listen, in Masachat Bechorot, I want to ask you a question, halacha. Let's say a woman gives birth to a child with 2 heads. Which head does puts on the tefillin? So Rabbi Yehuda Anasi says,
Binotam and Rashi, hello.
that jokes. So he says, huh?
The right one, no?
It says, Rabbi Yehuda says, there's no such kind of thing. A person cannot be with 2 brains. It's 2 different people, right? And then Hashem made a miracle. Under our earth, there are 7 earths. From one of those earths came out a human with 2 heads. And the Gemara says that person ended up marrying somebody, and the woman had a child with 2 heads.
Which one did they put on?
That means in this world has a all those things that people imagine, Hollywood, Schmollywood, all these kinds of beings.
There is conjoined twins.
All these things are a possibility. Once upon a time, they used to see these things.
The half man, half horse.
The Taurus, correct, Sagittarius, all these things. Anywho,
Mermaid.
it's very late. Let's just finish the paragraph, okay? What we say? ובתוך הים, and inside the sea, יש כמה ספינות, so many boats, כמה שייטים, so many ships, כמה דגלים, פירוסים על ראש התורן של הספינות, and on every boat, there's a different mast, they say, on top of the boat. There's a different mast, and so each one has a different flag, and many different. All these things, don't think they're coincidences.
No,
they're all
what is it trying to tell us?
that all those things that you see in the sea, they're actually materializations of what's going on spiritually in the sphere of Malchut.
Like what?
That means when you see in the sea so many why is he using the sea? First of all, the sea is the Malchut.
Okay, fine.
Second of all, the sea itself has many more creatures than the land has.
Yes.
And inside that sea has billions and trillions of creatures, and all those, and not only on top of the sea there are ships. And all those ships take things, and every ship is different, and each one has a different mast, each one has a different. All those things are actually powers of the almost infinite power of the Sphira of Malchut, what it could give birth
So
to.
that's what it's trying to tell you.
And then not only that, and each one has a different wave. There's many kinds of waves, and there's tsunamis, right? And it says over here, "Veyesh mine galim, veyesh mine she'ena mitgalgelim." There's waves in the sea. There are waves in the sea. There are whirlpools. ובקצה זה יש מקום הנקרא ים סוף. And inside the sea there's a place called ים סוף. והוא קרוב לגבול תחומי הארץ. And it's close to the land of Eretz Yisrael. That's where Am Yisrael split through. That place is called Yam Suf. Yeah, and then it's connected from the sea. And all the seas are connected to the ocean. Correct or incorrect?
And all the oceans are connected to each other.
Right. Only lakes
What page are you?
are special bodies of water that are surrounded by land.
Lakes are small.
Right?
Seas are smaller. Seas are small.
And the Yam Suf, what is Yam Suf? What does it mean, Yam Suf? The end of the sea. And what's the end of the Sfirot? Malchut, which is which name? Ammonai. And from this place starts the Din on Mitzrayim. From this place of Ammonai, which is the source of all Din, is the Din on the Egyptians. Therefore, they drowned in the Yam Suf, which is the Sfirat of Malchut, which is where the Jews' Neshamot come from. So therefore, where did they meet their death, the Egyptians?
In the,
The Yam Suf, which is the Malchut. It's as if the Malchut itself of Hashem came to give revenge.
Midah keneged
Midah keneged midah. V'zeh so, that's why the Mitzrim said, God is fighting with us.
The
They
Egyptian.
didn't know what they were saying. When they were in the sea, they said, Hashem nilcham lehem, anusa mipnei Yisrael, let me run away from Israel. Ki Hashem nilcham lehem b'Mitzrayim. Hashem is fighting with us. Not even them, they're not fighting with us. It's Hashem himself fighting. It's the sea, the power of the sea, which is Sifrat HaMalchut. Hashem was revealing himself through that sea, and he drowned all the Egyptians with the name of Ammonai. And how many different configurations Ammonai has?
72.
If you have 4 letters.
4 times 3 times 2 times 1.
Right, so how much is that? 24. And today's the 24th day of the Omer, which is 3 weeks and 3 days. And how many books of the Torah are there? He's going to explain 24, which are all books of the Malchut. And all the things that we do basically is La'akama Shchinta Ma'afera, Reshei Tevot L'Shem, Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen.